Chucky, get up! You fuck with my familia, eh? You gotta answer to me here and now. Come on!
In the dollars and I hope I got this number kid because we never fall the bringing it, singing it, bringing it low, bringing on with no bodies, no hoes. You're talking that shit, but they ain't never got the flow. Okay, Doogie.
You ready to throw jodazos, papa? Simón Piñón. Fuck yeah.
Yo, Adam, where you at? Time killer, I speak go down. Got a couple $100, we hit the town. Made a slide down the street with the blade of rounds. Let a homie on the mic with the funky sound. In the bucket with the thin, fresh, cold top pan. Little Mac in the back with my Glock straight gripped. In the South, man, you know that I'm about to stay clicked. I'm a creeper with the mask and the chop straight rip. Yeah, play a swing as a swing with the Mac. I'm a creeper with the chop.
All right, welcome back to the Doogie Podcast, episode 30. I got Zach Cummings from the Journey Podcast.
Appreciate you having me on, brother. You've been a big supporter for a while now, and you're always showing love, and that means a lot to us as up and coming creators. To have people outside of the people we grew up with. Obviously, I think you're in Colorado, supporting us. Yeah. So it's really cool. So yeah, thank you for having me on and wanting. It's an honor to have someone want me to be on their podcast.
Heck yeah, bro. Heck yeah. You guys have inspired me a lot more than you guys know. Just with podcasting, and then just I make music as well too, and just everything all together. Just as a smaller creator, it's cool to have someone like you guys to look up to, things like that. So it's pretty cool. With that being said, I have some stuff that I wanted to talk about. So the first thing I have written down is, do you struggle with staying on top of things priority-wise? And that could be do your work or relationships, or I know sometimes we can get lazy throughout the week and we kind of fall back, or distractions from things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a go-getter, someone that gets shit done. I always push myself, to the limit. But I certainly maybe. Because I was a college basketball player, so I was always disciplined in that. I never missed a workout. Even when I didn't feel like doing it, I knew I had to get my shots up because I knew there was something on the line all the time. So I knew if I didn't get my shots up for the week, or I didn't do my morning routine with my form shooting, it was going to affect my performance in the game. And that was the number one priority in my life. So no matter how I felt, good or bad, didn't want to do it, had shit to do, I always got it done. Now that I've been removed from basketball, and it's much more, less is on the line of what I have to get done to perform, I have more freedom to not do things. If I don't feel like doing it, I don't have to do it, So I've always just been someone if it has to get done, I'll do it. But I have struggled recently, maybe over the past couple of months, especially as this thing has started to take off a little bit, with discipline. And discipline for me was something that I usually never struggled with, but now I have been struggling with it a little bit. And discipline, and when you struggle with your discipline, that could be a scary place, because it's you versus you. And if you tell yourself that I'm not going to do this, and then 3 days later you go and do it, it's you can't even hold yourself accountable. So then who are you to go and try to tell other people what to do with their life? Especially me. I'm supposed to be someone that gives advice, and people look up to and inspire people, and be a voice of authority. And I tell myself don't go and do that, and then you go and do it. Or you got to get this shit done today, and then you don't do it, And discipline is really all it is, bro, is it's your current self, setting yourself up for your future self. So you have to think about where you are right now, and it's think about your future self. Do it for that person. Do it for that person that you want to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, when you have a family. That's the person that you have to think about. Stop thinking about everyone else around you. Think about the person that you want to be in 10 years, and then do the work now to be that person. So that's the shit that's been, that I've been struggling with a little bit lately. But yeah, certainly.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you just said. And then when you're talking about I guess discipline, do you think I guess if it's going to your podcast and everything like that, do you think inspiration plays a role with that? Or with me, I have to get inspiration to like write a song. Like I can have a hard time just like, throwing a beat on, just writing. I have to have like some like thought behind it, or like inspiration like to it. And I guess, is there like some type of like inspiration that goes into like each episode? I know it usually doesn't, because you guys kind of just go like, how you feeling, and you guys kind of just go right off the rip. But I guess, is there like some type of like inspiration behind like the Journey podcast, or like you as a person, to like what you put out there?
Yeah, like I understand what like where you're coming from, because like when you're I mean, like I'm in a creative space, but not as much as like music is creative, because like my favorite artist Mike, like he talks about that a lot, where like he never understood like blocking a time in your day to like go to the studio. He's like, how the fuck do you know if you're gonna be creative at 3 p.m.? Like music is like a flow, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to feel it. Like it could be in the middle of the night, it could be on a wave, like it could be whatever. So I get where you're coming from, because it's hard to like sit down like, oh, I'm gonna make music right now. It's like, no, it's like you feel that, you know what I'm saying? It's an intuitive feeling. As far as the podcast, we just, like I said, like like you said, we just roll with it, and that has been something that's fine with me, and then on the back end of it, with like the editing, the posting and stuff like that, of course there's like days that like I'm not inspired to do that shit, but like I get that done. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a non-negotiable for me. I'm more so talking about like me and my personal life. To me, that's business. You know what I'm saying? Like this is my life right now. Like that's my business. So like no matter what, like bro, I'm up at 5 a.m. every day. I edit from 5 to 9 every single day. Like I run other people's podcasts. I produce other people's podcasts. Like I do podcast coaching, podcast consulting. I'm running other people's social media. So like that's my business. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I make my money right now and stuff like that. So I take that very serious. Do I want to do it all the time? Absolutely not. Do I want to get to the point where I can hire editors and hire a social media team and all I have to do is podcast? Absolutely. That's the goal. But what I've noticed is like nobody's going to care about your shit more than you. So many people just want to create something and then outsource it and delegate everything. And nobody is going to take your shit as serious as you take it. So like you have to treat your thing like it's your baby. You got to love it. You got to care for it. You got to put time and effort into it. And that's how I treat the podcast, because I know like I can take this thing as far as I want to take it. I don't want to put my future and my life in anyone else's hands. So like that's why I take that very serious. But inspiration on the podcast side, it's like it goes back to like the discipline. Like things I haven't been doing over the past couple of months is reading, is meditating, is doing breath work, is spending more alone time, is getting off the phone for a while, is watching more educational podcasts, all those things, right? Like those are the things where like you get inspiration, and I can grab bits and pieces, apply it to my life, then bring it to the podcast and share it to our followers. But I haven't been doing that. So Jake and I even spoke. We're like, yo, like we watched some old episodes and we were way more dialed when we were on that wave. And like we haven't been on that wave. One, because like we've been just so busy with business, traveling, where we're kind of like spread thin. But I got to get back on that wave to have more inspiration to get on the pod, because at the end of the day, like our podcast is a inspirational, self-help, motivational, personal development podcast where I need to provide value to other people's lives. And I also need to take the information that I'm saying in the podcast and apply it to my life. I do a poor job of that as well. Not everyone, a lot of people can, say shit, but they don't actually even do it. And I've noticed I do that a lot with like relationship advice, right? Like I tell people what to do with relationships, breakups, stuff like that. And then when I'm put in that situation, I don't fucking follow it. I went back and watched a bunch of my clips, and I'm like, yo, like if I would have listened to myself, I'd be in a much better position mentally right now. But I did what majority of guys do when they're, heartbroken or going through some shit or mentally fucked up, and you self-sabotage and you make the situation way worse. So, all that, bro. It all kind of does go back to discipline, but yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of relationships, I had actually taken a lot of your relationship advice like very seriously. I forgot which episode it was from. I think it was it wasn't too long ago. It wasn't any. I know a guest wasn't on that podcast, but it wasn't too long ago. I know it was you and Jake.
Yeah, the ones I was talking about, like relationships, I believe was, I forgot the numbers exactly, but I remember like kind of what I was wearing because I remember the clips. But I know the two podcasts where it was like heavily relationship oriented. So yeah, I if you're saying, I'll know exactly what you're talking about.
I think you were talking about like putting in like we like give all of ourselves into like people, and then like at the end we're just like left alone. We get nothing in return. We're kind of just like,
Yeah.
I think that's what.
Yeah, it's
kinda
like
was talking about
when
maybe.
you yeah, I was talking about like when you put your happiness in like another individual, and that's all you kind of got, and you pour so much into someone, and then when they step away or they don't reciprocate that energy, you know, you feel like you're left with nothing because you put all your eggs in one basket. You put your happiness in someone else, so now they dictate how you feel throughout the day. They dictate your mood on how they're acting towards you. And you can't do that. Like, you have to be happy with yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to be, you know, like an individual, and be okay being alone, be happy with yourself. So if any external factors, you know, go their separate ways, or it doesn't align with the way that you're thinking, you'll still be okay with yourself because you've done that work prior to getting into that, you know? So that's kind of what I was talking about. Because I mean, why? Like, you felt like you dealt with that recently, like you put your happiness in someone else and just kind of fucking with you.
I feel like, well, I feel like I put it in 100% as much as I could, but there would never be like, you know, like it's even just as simple as like when you hang out with someone, right? You'll be like, you know what, I should hang out with this person today. You know, you hit them up, you call them, and you're that first person to like hit them up and actually be like, yo, let's hang out. And they could either be like yes or no. But I mean, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're in a relationship, I guess like spending time together is like a really big part of the relationship. And let's say like you're going out on a date, like usually the guy is the one that like calls it out, like, hey, we should go out to eat this Friday or Saturday. Usually the girls, they don't usually do that kind of thing, but you figure like eventually along the road they would start doing those type of things, if that makes sense. So I guess it's like I wasn't seeing the same amount of
Yeah, effort, bro. You gotta meet people,
yeah,
and
effort,
you
I
gotta
guess,
meet
yeah.
people where they're at. You know, you gotta match people's energy, and it's hard sometimes when you really care about someone. You know, that's the hardest thing to
Yeah.
do. It's like all you want is for them to feel the same way about you and treat you how you treat them, and when they don't do that, you know, you question yourself. You lack confidence. You know. Now you're questioning, and then you start overthinking. So like, there's so much that goes into that, and it's like, just step back and be like, yo, if they wanted to, they would. You can't force people to do anything. You can't change people. You can't change someone's mind. The more you try to change someone's mind or force someone into something, the more you're pushing them away. So we think we're doing more. We think by giving more effort, hitting them up more, trying harder, all you're doing is pushing them away. If someone needs space, give them their space. If they want to talk to you and they want to be with you and they want to come back into your life, they'll naturally gravitate towards you if you guys are supposed to be together, or if you guys are supposed to be in each other's lives. But it's like the harder you try to force something, the more you push it away, bro. Like, you naturally attract things. You need to be open to everything and attached to nothing. So that and that goes that bro, that honestly that relates to shit outside of relationships in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about how many times like you've thought of something, like you wanted something to happen so bad, and you just kept forcing it, and the timing wasn't right. And then the moment you just let it be, and you just let it go, and then you just continue to work towards whatever you're working towards without setting a standard and an expectation of when and how things should play out, sometimes those shit just happen. They just naturally happen. And maybe it's not always the way that you saw it was going to happen, right? Maybe the way that God saw it and God is going to play it out in your life is a different way, but it's still what was meant for you, you know? Like, we try so hard, bro, to like force things, and we set expectations on people and situations. And all that does is you drive yourself insane. You drive yourself insane because you're just so fixated on this one thing, and when it doesn't happen, you're fucking disappointed. And now you start questioning yourself, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? I gave my all to this one thing and it didn't fucking work out. And it's like, yo, just as cliche as it sounds, like, trust the process, like, put the work in and allow things to just flow naturally. You know, it's like that that I've said it a bunch of times on the pod. It's like when you're going down a stream, right? You're going down a river. If you try to swim against that stream, you're going to drown. You're never going to beat that force. But if you naturally flow down the stream, right? There might be other avenues. There might be a branch to grab onto. There might be a, another lane. And you just kind of have to go with it, but be open to everything around you. So then you're open to attracting those things. But when you try to swim against that stream and force shit, bro, it's very, very slim chances of shit working out in your favor.
Yeah. And like you were saying about like God, like I forgot what'd you say? You said how he I guess you kind of said like he puts to the test in a way, or like to see if like, or sorry, what did you say about the about God again?
I was saying, like, sometimes you, like, that's why they always say you make plans and God laughs. There's so many times in our life that we plan something in our mind and we want something to go in a certain way. We want something to happen at this time, this way, with these people, and we set an expectation and then it doesn't happen. And if you allow things to just flow naturally, you'll be surprised that, like, when you ask for something, you put the work in towards it, those things kind of naturally happen in your life, but it's not always the way that you saw it originally. God has a plan, and sometimes he places things or removes things from your life to put you in a spot where you're going to be the most successful, where you're going to have the opportunities to progress in life and to be the best version of yourself. But it's not always the way you see it, you know? And sometimes you need subtraction for addition, if that makes sense. Like sometimes God needs to remove things out of your life so you can add to your life. So many times we see losing people or failure or losing situations in our life as a negative, and sometimes, more often than not, like those things stepped out of your life so you had more room to grow. You poured a little bit out of your cup so you had better things to pour into that cup, so then you can become what you're supposed to be. But when you're trying to force those things into your life that are walking out of your life, you're not giving room for the better things and for the more positive things and for the things that God has in store for you to actually attract into your life, because your cup is already full with all the bullshit that he's trying to get rid of.
Okay, I get you on that. That was well said. Yeah, I had made a song recently called Trust in the Lord, and it's basically about this quote in the Bible that just like magically appeared to me. And it's trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And I was just chilling, bro, in my room, and like, you know, it wasn't the best day, and I was I never write my thoughts down on paper, and that day I was actually willing to. So I was going to my drawer, I opened my drawer open, and I was trying to look for my composition notebook, and I couldn't find it, but my Bible was there, and I was like, I feel like this is kind of a sign, so I pull it out, and I had a bookmark in there for years that I had never, like, I think it like a year or two it had been in there, and I opened it up, and like the first thing I seen was that trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, and I was like, dang, it just hit me, and like the more I kept reading, it was just like what I needed to hear. It was really crazy, and it's like one of my favorite quotes ever.
Yeah, bro, that's been one thing that I've been trying to become more accepting of is like God's gonna test you. God is gonna put you through suffering. You know, life is gonna give you suffering. Life is gonna give you trauma. Life is gonna give you heartbreak. You're gonna go through all these things, all these emotions, and you have to be, you have to transfer that energy. Like energy can't be destroyed. Energy can only be transferred. So that when you're feeling sad and you're feeling hurt and you're feeling depressed, like use that energy and apply it towards something positive. Go to the gym, right? Work on a business, get creative, hang out with your friends, hang out with the boys, like do things, take that energy and then transfer it into something positive. So many times we want to take that energy and try to remove it. And it's like, you can't. Energy cannot be destroyed. So whatever's inside of us, all you can do is apply that to positive aspects of your life, things that are going to take you to the next level, right? But like you said, like it's you're never going to understand why these things happen to you. You know, like in the moment, it's so hard to understand. That's why it doesn't make sense to like try to fixate on certain things so much. We gotta just you gotta take life and not take it so serious all the time. Like take yourself serious, take your health, your business, your family, your relationships. Yes, take that serious. But the things that happen in your life, I mean, bro, you gotta. It's a roller coaster. It's just continuous ups and downs and fucking peaks and valleys, and you just have to be willing to go through it. And most of the time, when you are at rock bottom and you are at the valley, right, you are feeling down, like you know that the only way from here is up. So you got to take that energy and take those emotions, take those things that are out of your control in your life, and then apply it towards something that's going to better yourself and put yourself in a better position. Because if you try to make sense of all the things that go wrong in your life, like you're literally gonna drive yourself insane.
Yeah, and I feel like I did that a lot too. Like, just like, I mean, I'm 19, and like within the past like 2 years, I feel like I was doing a lot of that. There's like a lot of things happening in my life, just like like little things, nothing like traumatic or nothing crazy, but like just certain things where I'd be like, why is this happening? But then at the same time, like I still had that thought in the back of my mind where I was like, well, I'm not gonna question it because like I'm not gonna question God for like whatever He's like doing in my life or whatever's being put into the works. Like I know this is happening for a reason. It's gonna build me into like a better version of myself, or just like um just slowly becoming who I'm gonna be in the future. And I mean, um yeah, I guess I just never question Him for anything that's happened to me, good or bad. It's just always just a bunch of phases to learn
Yeah,
throughout life and just become stronger.
yeah. No, I struggled with my faith and belief in God for 10 years, bro. Like I learned a lesson as a 12-year-old that you can't explain. Losing my mom at 12 years old, it never made sense to me. All it did was make me question God. Like if there's a God, why would He take me away from my mother? Why would He, remove my mother from my life? And it took me so long to, one, accept what happened, but two, there's a bigger picture behind all these things, and you have to be willing to just trust that the things that happen in your life, good or bad, like they're for a reason. And it may not make sense, but you have to be willing to accept it and move on, and then take that pain, take that hurt from the lesson that was put in your life, and then do something with it. It's like when bad shit happens to you, good. Because now you have something to work towards. Now you have something to fuel you. Now you have something to motivate you. And that's what my mom was for me my entire life, of playing college basketball and trying to have an impact on people's lives and just be a good person. Because I know that, like, I have to do this now. I have to do this. So now that was something I struggled with for so long, was trying to be faithful, and I questioned God and my belief in that all the time, and I'm still not there yet, but I'm coming around to the idea of, like, I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe that I was put here for a reason, and God and the universe, there's something guiding me. Like there's something putting that intuitive feeling in my heart, in my chest, the thoughts that come in my mind. Like a lot of things aren't on accident, like so many times we think things are coincidental or accidental or you just good luck. It's like luck favors the prepared. It's like when you put the work in, bro, and you are a good person, and you're faithful, and you believe, and you treat others with respect, like you naturally, like, good things fucking happen to you. Bad people wonder why bad shit's always happening to them. It's like, bro, you're an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, you treat people terribly. You when you're by yourself, you're not a good person. The thing, you're not providing anyone value. You're always talking shit about people. It's like everything you're doing is negative, and then you wonder why you attract negative people, negative situations, negative things into your life. So yeah, I believe heavily, bro, in like law of attraction and just a belief in a higher power, and all we can control is the work that we put in on the day to day. That's the only thing we have control of, is like what you do. You're not gonna be able to control or change anyone else, any other situation. All you have is you, and you got to just trust that things are gonna work out.
Yeah. With relationships, I've always I've always, I guess, prayed to God to put someone in my life that was like me, had the same morals, this, that, and the other, just like me. That's what we all want at the end of the day. Like, it'd be nice, you know. But it's like, I don't know if like, I don't think there's a correct age you should be in a relationship. I don't think there's like an age that's like too late to be in a relationship or too early. But I do think like I've always prayed to him and like I said, like asking for somebody. But like I don't know if like now that I've like realized like getting out of a relationship and like being through many like trials and errors with like females, I'm realizing now that like it's not so much about being in a relationship as much as they are great. It's also about just like focusing on yourself and then asking God to like later on put someone into your life that also has the same like um I guess that's like you, but like I guess like I've always not like always been like what is it called? Not that I've always wanted to be in a relationship all the time, but like that I thought that was like the grand scheme of like what was gonna make me happy. But like I always would ask God to like put somebody in my life. And it was never the right person, but I think that's because I never did it through him. It was always me doing it through myself and like finding somebody that I thought was good for me, but then at the end of the day, like maybe they weren't like the right person for me. But I think still at the end of the day, like I said, don't question God for like anything that's happened. Like it all happens for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna attract people into your life of naturally kind of where you're at, you know. So you have to think about that. If you keep naturally attracting the wrong person, maybe it's not that person, maybe it's you, and that's something that I
Yeah.
struggled with. You know, like I was, you know, it's so easy to point the finger and blame the other person, and it's like, yo, like, are you actually happy with yourself? You know, or are you actually like Tate talks about like, bro, like if you were a girl, would you choose you? And that's a question that you really have to ask yourself. All the options that these women have, if you were a girl, would you choose yourself to date? And if the answer is no,
Right.
it's like, yo, you have some fucking work to do then. So
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't be dating. You should be working on yourself, progressing, and trying to become the man that, if you were a woman, you would want to date. Yeah.
Right. I guess that's what I was kind of trying to say. Like, I guess not putting relationships aside and just like focusing on like what I need to do because like I'm doing music, I'm doing YouTube, like this stuff isn't going to be any easier from also having to worry about like someone else. And not that that's a bad thing because I've done it before. Like it's definitely manageable, but I think once you dive in head first to like yourself and like just all of this stuff all together, like you said, you're trying to grow your business and everything like that and do it full time and have editors to be working for you. I think once you get that like blueprint down of like how you think your like I guess your like foundation of like your content is gonna go for like forever. Like Joe Rogan, for example, like his podcast, like, he already has a foundation. Like people go on, they hit record, boom, they post it. It's like so like you guys already have a foundation, for example, like you guys on the podcast, like it's so like smooth the way you guys do things. And then everything outside of that is editing and traveling, meeting guests. But with me right now, it's more or less like I'm creating my blueprint right now, slowly and slowly and slowly. Um, just because I'm not in like a comfortable like season right now. Like I can make podcasts to stay on the other, but it's not up to like the par I want to be at. But that's just part of the process, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yeah, you got to build, bro. You got to build. You're in a building stage, and if you, I mean, a relationship can support that or it can hinder that. I mean, that's totally up to you and the other person and your partner. And it's like if that girl supports you, if she's a believer in you and she's bettering your life, she's making you happier, she's not taking away from your business, then yeah, it's something that you should pursue. But if she's fucking with your mental health, fucking with your mind, stressing you out, taking you away from your business, you don't need to be involved in that because all it's doing is setting you back for exactly what you want in the future. So you gotta look in the mirror and make a tough decision, you know, and it's hard, bro, as a guy, when, you know, as a man, when you really like a female, because, you know, you're thinking future, you're thinking this, you're thinking she's gonna be the one, and now slowly but surely, if she's distracting you from what you're doing, you're gonna fall off your path, right? Like your money's gonna, you know, change, your business might alter, your foundation, like your relationship with your parents might change, your time with your friends is going to change. So it's like you have to, like a girl, if you want to do it the right way, bro, it's a commitment, and it's something that you have to be like you have to be serious about it, you know. And that's a real decision, especially like you're young, bro. Like you're gonna have a bunch of relationships, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe you find the one, you know, your wife next year, I don't know. But more often than not, like you're gonna go through some breakups. You're gonna hurt some people. They're gonna hurt you. You're gonna have some 3-month thing, and then it doesn't work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you got to date. You got to see who you like. You know, like I'm 26. Like I'm still, you know what I'm saying? Like I haven't found my wife yet, right? Like you still date and stuff like that. But like I'm at the point now where it's like this is a super pivotal time for me to get to where I want to be, and if a female's hindering that, bro, it really affects where I'm at in my personal life. So it's like I have to be very selective of who I give my time to, because your time is valuable, bro, and you'll never get that shit back.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm not saying relationships aren't worth it at a young age. I mean, I'm only 19. But I do think if you are in one or you get into one, I feel like balance is like the hardest thing, I think, with relationships, or just like with life in general. Like we all have jobs, we all have to have time to ourselves. Some of us do things on the side, like me, I have a podcast, music, things like that, and it's hard to like find time to do or like give care to all of them all at once, like an even amount, because you can't. I guess, yeah, you could put a lot into one of them all at once. Or, like, there's certain percentages, like, you could give to, like, each of those aspects. But then I don't know if it's a bad thing to give too much into one thing. Like, let's say you're giving a lot of time to your podcast, but not too much to your girlfriend. Or too much into your girlfriend and the podcast gets behind. So I feel like it's kind of hard to, like, balance. And that's also another thing I've always dealt with. Because when I've been single, I've been able to just, like, boom, podcasts, music, this, that, and the other. But I guess just balance has always been like a problem for me, and just like finding time to like balance everything without me being like, oh snap, I'm not spending time with her, or oh snap, I'm not spending time with this, or myself, or my brothers and my siblings, my family, or my friends. You know, like you said, like you put a lot of time into like something, and then you also like leave other things behind, and then it's like kind of sucks.
Yeah, I don't think having a balanced life makes sense. You're never going to be completely balanced where you can give 25% here, 25% here, 25. You're never going to have that. There's going to be periods in your life where you have to give your girlfriend 80% right now because she needs you. Then there's going to be another point where you have to give 95% to your business because you need to make money. You need to progress in your career. There's going to be times that you need to go 50% girlfriend, 50% friends for your own mental health. You know, there's times where you got to go 100% for yourself and just be by yourself because you need that time to reset. So trying to have this perfect life, perfect balanced work, life, girlfriend, business, it's not going to happen. And you have to be willing to accept that there's going to be different points in your life, different chapters of your life where you're going to have to give more to one thing and less to another. And you have to be able to communicate that to other people so they don't feel any type of way about you if you're acting a little bit different. And as long as you communicate that and you're upfront and you're honest with people, you should never have a problem.
I never thought about it like that, bro. That's pretty tight. I've always thought like everything had to be balanced. Like I got to do this, not like time, like I got to do this at that time or this at this time. I always be like, oh, I need to get this done or this done or that done, or I need to go spend time with this person or that person. And it's like, I guess just prioritizing, I would say, might be the best thing to do. I guess priorities, just because like those are the things that come to your head the first, and that's what's genuinely not like, yeah, it'll make you happy, but that's what matters to you because that's what like comes to your head first. So I would say do those things first, and not just the things that make you happy, but the things that are gonna like benefit you in the long run. Like, yeah, you could go spend time with your girlfriend, but like, let's say, like you said, your business is failing, so it's like, well, I gotta go like have my business first. Not necessarily comparing the business to your girlfriend, but like if your business needs it a lot more, like I feel like you should put it into
But that's what I'm saying with communication, where it's like, yo, if that's the girl for you, you should be willing to communicate that to her, and if she is really the one for you, then she should understand that, hey, like, maybe these next 2 weeks, my man really needs to focus on his business because he's focusing on that business to better our life as a couple. If she's selfish and doesn't understand that, then she's probably not the one for you. So you have to be a good judge of character in that aspect. Like the main thing, like, yeah, like with your priorities is, bro, one, you have to put yourself first always, because at the end of the day, you put your head on that pillow at night, you're in your own mind, you're in your own thoughts. Like the only way you're going to be able to provide value to other people's lives and be, you know, a blessing in other people's lives and impact and change other people's lives is if you've poured into yourself and you're the best version of yourself, one. And two is communication. If you're honest and you're not snaking people and lying to people and trying to manipulate people's minds and get over on people, if you're just honest, bro, and you're communicative, like they can't be mad at you. Like, this is how I feel right now. I'm letting you know exactly how I feel. And whether that hurts you or it doesn't, like, this is what I have to do for me right now. And that's a huge step in maturing, especially as a man. So many times we try to let shit slide under the rug, or we try to get over on people, or we try to make excuses for why things happen. It's like, just man up, say exactly how you feel, and that's it. Fuck how they feel. Because you have to do it for you right there, right then, right now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what, and that's hard, bro. Like I struggle with that all the time. I've been a people pleaser like my entire life, but I have to do a better job of that. Like I'm not preaching to the choir, like telling everyone like I'm perfect. Like bro, like that's shit I struggle with. But I'm understanding that it's like, same. Like if you just tell someone that, I can't do this right now, or I have to do this, and if they really fuck with you, they should understand. And if they feel some type of way about it because you're trying to better your life, then they shouldn't be in your life to begin with. If they're going to get upset that you're trying to do something for yourself, that's not the person that needs to be in your life.
I agree. I feel like I've always struggled with that too, being like a people pleaser and just trying to please everybody, or like never like speaking up for myself, or never like getting out of my shell, things like that. I feel like speaking up for myself has always been a hard thing. Whether it was like a job or in school or relationships, friends, for whatever reason, I don't know how that even like gets built into us. But I think, like you said, it's just a part of maturing. Everyone has to go through that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I have some more things written down here. I have something that says finding purpose and the challenge of staying committed to that purpose. Well, I guess we already talked about that, I guess. But like, I guess since we kind of already like went over like half of that, what do you think like with like your podcast and like your business and like with everything you're doing now, like what do you think like your purpose is, I guess?
Yeah, bro. I think my purpose is to be a light in other people's lives. I think it's to impact and change people's lives for the better. I think I was put here to be a good person and really have a voice and change the trajectory of people's lives. Whether it's a huge thing that completely changes their life, or even to the smallest thing that can like just make their day a little bit better, right? Like if you could change one person's life, you did your job. But I think the thing with the purpose question, right? Like I ask that a lot on my podcast. Like that's like our ending question a lot of the time with our guests. Like what's your purpose? And I think your purpose changes, bro. I think right now my purpose is to be a voice, to be a leader, and spread positive affirmations, positive things into the world, and be a light for people. But 5 years ago, my purpose was basketball. But I think over time, as your purpose changes, every time you are pursuing a purpose for that point in time in your life, like you were learning lessons for what you were gonna transfer to your next purpose, right? So like in basketball, I learned so many life lessons through my coaches, through my teammates, through losing, through having bad games, through pushing myself to the extent of throwing up after workouts and not being able to feel my legs for 2 days. I instilled a crazy work ethic and mindset, right? But like my purpose at that time was basketball. Then it went to the podcast. So then my purpose was to be a voice, right? Be a leader. But all the things and attributes that I gained from basketball, I can take that and apply to my new purpose. So right now, yes, my purpose is the podcast and being a light in other people's lives and having a voice and leaving a positive impact on the world and trying to, spread positivity and do the right thing. But I don't know, in 3, 4, 5 years, I might have another purpose, right? But the things that I learned during this chapter of my life, I can apply to that next purpose. So I think your purpose is continuously and always changing. And you just have to be able to take the bits and pieces that you learned along the way and then apply it to your next purpose.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I do feel like I'm in the same kind of like purpose to like being like a voice for people. I try to talk about positive things on my podcast and things like that, or just in my music too. I try to make music that people can like enjoy, and like I've been trying to make more heartfelt music recently that people can relate to. And yeah, I guess just like you said, purpose is just this thing that can keep changing over like periods of time, and yeah, I agree with that for sure. And I guess with that being said, is there anybody in your life that you know of, or like I know people that I've known throughout the years that who have just been like just like lost in life, or just like they haven't found their purpose yet and they're just having a hard time like just taking that like next step into like being like them? Because I feel like you wake up every day and you have a purpose, you know what to do for the day. Like maybe like right out the jump you might not know what you exactly want to do, but like like what you want to do, I guess that makes sense. Same thing with me, like I know things that I like to do and like content I want to put out, things like that. But there's some people out there who like they wake up and they're kind of just bumming around, no job. Like I guess like what would you say to those kind of people, like to give them hope or like to get them like up and going?
I mean, it's hard, bro, right? Like if you have no motivation to do anything and nothing makes you happy, and it's a rough spot to be in. But it's like if you're not trying and you're not going out and working on yourself and trying to be better and trying to create something or meet people and network, it's like, I mean, I don't want to, I mean, not to sound harsh, but like I feel like, sure, maybe I feel bad, but like I don't feel bad if you're not doing anything about it. Like I feel bad for people that genuinely care and genuinely are trying and just can't figure it out. Like I feel bad for those people because I know how hard it is to try to find something you love that makes you happy, that can make you money, that makes the people around you proud. Like that shit is fucking hard to find right now, bro. A lot of people struggle with that. Yeah. And a lot of people have to settle for things that they don't enjoy doing, and they have to take time and put an effort into someone else's business just to pay the rent. And like, I get that. But the people that just sit home and lay in bed all day and think things are going to just happen for them, or like things will just work themselves out, it doesn't. You have to be able to put the work in. So I mean, yeah, if there's people listening and they don't know what they want to do in life, it's like, yo, go try shit. Go try shit. Go work at a pizzeria and do deliveries. Go work at a restaurant and wait tables. Go start playing a sport. If you're in high school, go try something, play video games, start streaming, start a podcast. Like there's so many, make music. Like you don't know what you're talented at if you don't do anything. Everyone has some type of talent in them, right? Like some type of thing where they can be happy and find something that motivates them. But you have to be willing to do it. You have to meet life where it's at. Life isn't just gonna happen for people. So yeah, I mean, bro, a lot of people I grew up with, like you see now, like bro, I'm 26. See a lot of people, it's like you were supposed to do something with your life, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, like you were somebody. And now we're, 12 years removed from that, and it's like, this is where you ended up.
Right.
And everyone, and don't get me, like, and I'm not saying that to be harsh or be mean, but it's like, I get it. Like, life happens. Everyone's situation is different, and not everyone has the best support system. But at the end of the day, like, I'm just a huge believer in accountability, and you have the power to change your life. You also have the power to fuck it up, and that's up to you. It's not. Everything that happens in your life negatively, you can make excuses and say you are where you are in life because of the events that occurred, or you could take all of that pain and all of that hurt from all the bad shit that happened to your life and apply it towards something better and change your life for the better. It's sink or swim. Like life is really sink or swim, and that's what I talked about at the beginning of transferring that energy, you know. Bro, I have every excuse in the world to be sad all the time. Like, my mom died when I was 12. I could run with that till the day I die. Oh, yeah. I went through a life-altering experience as a 12-year-old where I watched my mom in a 6-month period die of cancer. Feel bad for me. It's like, no, I'm going to take all that pain and hurt that I have to wake up every day and remember, yo, my mom died. I'm going to work and I'm going to put it towards something. I'm going to use that energy. I'm going to go to the weight room and I'm going to get ripped. I'm going to fucking I'm going to create a business and I'm going to fucking make as much money as I can. I'm going to go and try to impact other people's lives so they don't have to deal with the shit that I dealt with, you know? So that's all it comes out to, bro, is taking action. And a lot of people don't want to take action, especially now. There's so much time to just scroll on your phone and bullshit and, you know? And, bro, time slips away. So I talked about it with my boy last night. I'm like, in 4 years, I'm going to be 30 years old. Do you know how insane that sounds?
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
30. Like, bro, when I was 19, 30 seemed like, damn, by 30, I'll probably be a millionaire. I'll probably have a wife. I'll probably have kids by then. I'll have my career. Bro, 30 is 4 years away. Not saying that can't happen in these next 4 years. Like, 4 years is a lot of time, but it's also like, life, bro. Like, life is fast, bro. Life moves fast. Like, so it's scary, bro. If you don't take action, if you don't wake up every day with a purpose and a plan, life is just gonna slip away, bro. And next thing you know, you're gonna be 30 years old with no future, no money, no women, no vision, and it's going to be a very rough reality and a sad reality for a lot of people that just let time slip away and they don't do anything with it. And we all have the same 24 hours. We all have the same amount of time, and it's up to you to do something with it. So, yeah. Ultimately, I don't feel bad for the people that don't try. You know, you don't deserve it.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like, you don't deserve it.
I was talking to Jake about this one quote. I sent him. I don't know if you've ever seen the channel called Better Ideas. It's kind of, they have like cinematic, like motivational videos, kind of in a way, but they're like really well put together. They're very cinematic, and it was one called "Inaction is a Slow Death," and he actually talked about it on I think it was like the following podcast after me and him did one in your guys' episode. And I could tell it like touched him like pretty well, and it's a good quote. Like, inaction is a slow death. Like, even just as simple as like walking in public and you see like a pretty girl, you could go up and ask her, or you could just like let her walk away and you'll never see her again. And then like you get to your car in the parking lot and you're like, damn, like I should have just asked her. Like, worst thing that could happen is her say no. Best thing that could happen is say yes. If she says no, be like, all right, have a good rest of your day and nice meeting you. Whatever. It's just simple as that. So life's just trial and error. Like, no matter, I guess, what we go through, we just have to go through it, well, whether it ends well or not. But at the end of the day, we're still going to learn from the end result that we get. So, yeah. And with me being 19, I guess, like, if you could put yourself in your 19-year-old shoes, I guess, like, and from, like, all the time that's passed from who you are right now till then, I guess, like, what advice do you think you would have given yourself throughout the years to people that are my age, or, like, to your younger self?
Yeah, see, it's hard, like, that question, right? Like, what would you tell your younger self? A lot of times, like, when people ask that question, you know, like, oh, I would tell him to do this and do this differently and do this, but the more I've thought about that question, it's like, what would I tell my younger self? I wouldn't tell him shit. I wouldn't tell him anything because I don't want to take away the bad times and the lessons that were learned from all the heartbreak and trauma and failures. Like, that's what made me me. If I were to go back to my younger self and try to prevent those things from happening, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I truthfully like the position I am in today because I know I had to go through those things to be this person. So when a lot of the time, like, people that get asked that question, they want to go and change everything, right? And it's like, well, you're a totally different person now. You know, if I were to say like, oh, don't get into that relationship or handle this differently, you know, it's like, bro, like, that's why I'm able to get on a podcast and talk about these things. It's because I learned that shit when I was 19. Like, I really believe in the butterfly effect. You ever seen that movie?
I haven't. I've heard
Bro,
of
watch
it,
that. Watch that shit tonight. It's the first one. The second one was whack, but the first one, Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher. It's on, I don't know, it's probably on like HBO Max. You can find it somewhere. You can stream it somewhere, bro.
Okay.
Watch that movie, then text me. Like, that movie is how I believe life is. It's like every single thing in your life that has happened plays a part in all the other things. Small or big, it doesn't matter. Like, if someone, you know, didn't show up at this time, maybe that car accident wouldn't have happened. Right? Like, I really believe like all these moving parts, like the universe and energy and all this shit is all connected. Like, I'm a big believer in that. So I think, like, bro, think about if our parents or whatever, what if like, it could, like, bro, it could get so deep of like, so say like your parents, like, what if your grandfather sent your dad to the Navy? Or sent him away, or they would have never met your mom, you wouldn't be alive. There's so many things that we just take for granted, we don't think about. But it's like, yo, every single thing is happening the way it should. And it's hard to say that with all the bad shit that does happen in the world. Like, you turn on the news and it's, you know, the war going on in the Middle East and all the terrible shit and shootings in New York City and shit happening in Colorado. Like, it's bad, bro. And like, I'm not like, and that sometimes doesn't make sense to me, you know, like tragedies and stuff like that. But it's like, you'll see in that movie that, you know, people die. Like, if, like, when one thing changes, other people die. Other people's lives are affected when you decided to try to go back and change your past. So it's a really cool thing. And the butterfly effect for me was just like, you don't try to change anything. Like, really believe that this is this thing is happening for a reason. Like, if you try to change that, you're gonna alter and change other things in your life that may end up being worse than what you were trying to change originally. So, just trust what's happening.
Kind of like, okay, yeah. Kind of like, don't take any shortcuts in a way. Like, don't ask for any shortcuts, or like, don't look for any shortcuts.
Yeah, but it all goes back to like, don't force things, you know? It's like if that girl doesn't want to be with you, like, you gotta let her go, you know? Or it's like, if you got fired from that job, don't try to fucking save your job. You know what I'm saying? Like, things happen in your life to set you up for something else, for something better usually. But it's like, when you try to go back and force a situation, now you're changing the trajectory of what your life could have been if you would have just allowed things to happen. So that's really what that whole thing is about. Is like, you know, don't try to change anything, you know?
Yeah. It's a lot of realization that's kicking in right now.
Yeah, bro. You know, if you went back and changed all the shit that happened to you when you were a kid and things you learned and people you met, then you wouldn't be in this position right now. And some could say, oh, if I would have changed this and that, like, I'd be in a better position than I am now. But yeah, then maybe, you know, because you're there, in 6 years you die in a fucking car accident. You know, so it's like, yo, like, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And if you can tell yourself that every single day, that like, yo, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now, then you can have faith and you can trust in the things that are happening because you're a believer in what's going on around you. So that's really what it comes down to, bro. You just don't force shit, be open to everything, attached to nothing, work hard, be a good person. There's all these cliche things, and it's like, if you're consistent and you're a good person and you do the right things, you treat people with respect, like, good things naturally come to you, bro.
Yeah. Right. One thing I'm dealing with right now is like change. So like right now I work a job. I work for Pepsi and we work like 40 plus hours. It's a full-time job. I start work at like 4:30 in the morning on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And I have 3 days off, so like don't get me wrong, like that's a lot of time, you know, to like get stuff done. But like I miss having a job where like I go in at like 6 a.m. and then I get out at like 3, and I still got like the whole day to like, I guess, like work on stuff. But then also that same day I also went to work and I was making money, like being at work, like being employed. But like on days that I work, I get home and I'm like tired and like I don't have time to like work on music or like even just enough just to have like the brain power energy like inside me to like go and like do it. It's hard to like find that. So like I'm in like a pickle of like wanting to get a new job, but then I'm like, because I know if I got a new job I would have more time to make music like I used to at the beginning of the year. I didn't have the job I have now, and I was cranking out songs and podcasts and videos like just endlessly. Like everyone is telling me like, whoa, like how are you putting all this content out? And it was just because it just flows through me so naturally, like the way you guys do it, just constantly posting content. And then like when that time gets like taken from you, even though like the job I have right now, it's great and I'm making like good money for myself, it's like I'm also like missing out on like the time that I have to like put into like something I love that could also get me somewhere even farther in the future. So I guess it's just time and like energy and just having time to do things. And like,
I mean, do you want to spend the rest of your life working at Pepsi?
No.
There's your answer. I mean, do you live on your own?
No, I'm with my parents still.
Do you pay rent? Do you
No.
have any other bills?
Like a car, phone, other things like that.
So that should be your answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, make enough to cover your phone bill, your car, food, you know,
Yeah.
extra activities, and then do something that's least time consuming as possible, and then pour into what you love, bro. Like, you're 19, like you're not going to work at Pepsi for the rest of your life. If you do a good job and you step away for a while and shit doesn't work out and you're making good money and you want to go back to Pepsi, you can go back to Pepsi. Or maybe you can go to fucking Coca-Cola or wherever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not this fucking, like, any job, bro, I did the bare minimum. I did the bare minimum because I don't want to be here for the rest of my life. So I'm not going to put my all into this. I'm going to do the bare minimum, get my money for the day. As soon as 3 o'clock hits, I'm clocking out. I'm not staying 1 second past 3 o'clock, and I'm going to work on my shit. So that's the mentality that you have to have. I always did it because I had a card note, right? I always wanted money in my pocket. I wanted food. I get it, bro. I've been working since I was 13. I was a custodian in the summers at the fucking high schools, fucking scraping gum under desks and mopping floors and getting the school ready for the new school year. I worked in the city delivering food to the projects, bro, during COVID. I worked at Foot Locker. I worked at Lids. I worked at fucking a sneaker store. I worked in a trampoline. Like, bro, I've done it all. You name it, I've worked there. But I gave what they pay, you know? They pay me shit, I'm gonna give shit effort. I don't want to spend the rest of my life here. So that's the mentality you gotta have, bro. Like, you can always go get a fucking job that pays you what Pepsi pays you. If you don't love it, like,
That's true.
Go find something. Bro, I still work. I work at the gym. I open a gym every morning at 5 a.m. I work at LA Fitness, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. I bring my computer and I edit. I edited this morning. I was up at 4:45 and I edited from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. I got paid $15 an hour, so I made $60 to edit my podcast. And then I went and did my own shit. And then I went to the gym, and then I went and did this shit, right? But that's what you got to do, bro. Like, go find like an opening job at a gym. Wake up, sacrifice. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You think I like waking up at 4:30 in 20-degree weather in New York? Fuck no. But I do it because I have to. You know? Because I get $1,000 a month from there. That pays my car note, my food, and my gas. And I work 4 hours a day. And then I get the whole rest of my day. Obviously, I have other business endeavors that are bringing in more money, but that covers my bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? You don't got rent, you don't got that, bro. Take advantage of that. You're going to look back when you're 26, you're going to be like, fuck, I wish I poured more into the podcast. I wish I poured more into this. Because then you're going to look at Pepsi in there and you know, you're going to oversleep one day and then they're going to fire you. And they don't give a fuck about you. It's $1 billion company. Right. Pepsi does not give a fuck about you. Your manager, as much as you think, Pepsi doesn't give a fuck about him. He could go tomorrow too. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's corporate shit. Fuck the corporate shit. Yeah. Do what you gotta do. Make your money. And practice and fucking chase a dream, bro. Chase your craft. Jake was dead,
because I got my family down my back too.
Yeah, bro, that's tough. What do you think Jake deals with every day? I'm lucky, bro. Like, my dad supports me. You know what I'm saying? Like, my family supports me, bro. I'm blessed in that aspect. Jake's dad does not fuck with what he does, you know? And that's what it is. But Jake gets a lot of shit, you know? Jake was also dead broke, sleeping on the floor. Still sleeps on the floor. But he's chasing a dream, bro. Like, he's gonna be able to look in a year, in 2 years, and like, yo, that shit was worth it. But it's like, what do people... Like, Jake and I literally spoke about it last night. We're like, yo, we could always go and be a cop. Or always go and be a cop and do real estate on the side. Or go get a corporate 9-to-5 office job that pays $90,000 a year. I have a college degree. I can go do... I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, a lot of people settle for that mediocre average lifestyle that society tells you is successful. But if you're not happy doing what you're doing and it's not bringing you that much money, it's not what you want to do for the rest of your life, bro, fuck that job. You know? You can always go get another job. You'll never get your 19-year-old self with your energy, your creativity, your thought process, the time that you have, the age you are. You'll never get this time back to work on them. You can always go back and get some fucking regular job that pays you decent.
Yeah, that's my next step is to get a new job. That's my next step. I just kind of been, I guess, thinking about it, but I got to stop thinking about it and just kind of just go out and do it now. Yeah, I just miss having that time, just like I was saying, just having that time to just wake up and be like, all right, let's do this or let's do that, or like go put my hours in at work and then come back home and let's either have time to myself or put work into the podcast or music or this, that, and the other. Like, I miss doing that kind of stuff, and I had that heart for it and also had the energy for it. I still have the heart for it. It's never left me, but now I just have to have the time and energy to do it. And the job right now is the thing that's like draining me the most, I guess, if that makes sense. So above all, I guess just finding that time again, and just as much as we rebelled against balance, but like just finding that balance of like having a good job that pays enough and also gives me enough time to work on my craft. And then just getting the satisfaction out of that, putting out what I like to do, and just things like that. Yeah, bro. That was well said. I've been needing to hear that, just because like we tell ourselves, like, we can only tell ourselves so much. I mean, like you were saying, like, how am I gonna give people advice if I can't even apply that to myself? Like, I feel like we give people like the best advice, but then we can never put it into ourselves. And I feel like even sometimes we need like somebody else to tell us, just so, not to like validate our thoughts, but like just to make sure like we're not tripping or anything, in a way. Not that we're tripping, but like just to be like, all right, cool, like maybe I should like give into that. We just need that like person just like kick us, just to be like, all right, go, like nah, you're right, like go do that, you know? So but yeah, man. You got anything else you want to say?
Nah, all good, bro. This is cool. Yeah, that's about it, bro.
Heck yeah. I was gonna actually when the Spotify rap thing came out for the guys' podcast, I think it had like 5,000 minutes or something like that. I forgot how many minutes it was, but it was up there. I never had the chance to share it, but it was pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
appreciate that, man.
I was like, dang. But yeah, bro. Other than that, for those of you who are watching, I'll throw Zach's Instagram below as well as his podcast with Jake Moscato, the Journey Podcast. Go follow them on TikTok. I'll put that down there as well. Everything will be there. So if you guys want to contact them or just go check out their content, they're amazing guys. They got good self-help podcast tips and just like everything like that. Go check them out. And yeah, I guess that's it, guys.
Cool.
It's me, Zach, and we're out. Deuces.
Sir.
Get up, Chucky! Get up! You fuck with my familia, eh? You gotta answer to me here and now. Come on!
Lock in the dollars and I hope I got this no big kid because we never fall. Bringing it, singing it, bringing it low, bringing it on with no bodies, no hoes. They're talking that shit, but they ain't never got the flow. Okay, Doogie.
You ready to throw jodazos, papa? Simón Piñón. Fuck yeah.
Yo, Adam, where you
Sad
at?
time killer, I speak go down. Got a couple $100, we hit the town. Made a slide down the street with the blade of rounds. Let a homie on the mic with that funky sound. In the bucket with the thin, fresh, cold top pin. Little Mac in the back with my Glock straight ripped. In the South, man, you know that I'm about to stay clicked. I'm a creeper with the mask and the chop straight rip. Yeah, play a swing as I swing with the Mac.